What's good, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome to my Raw reactions video for the week of May the 9th, 2016. As always, let me know what you thought of Raw down in the comments, and I will get here to what I thought of this episode of Monday Night Raw. We started off with Chris Jericho and the highlight reel, and there was some just excellent heel work here from Jericho. Just, you know, you're here to see me. Drink it in. Like, that stuff was great. Having the whole, like, stuff with the remnants of Mitch the Plant and having the, like, the social media reaction from Mitch the Plant. Fantastic stuff. Excellent heel work. But it brings out Big Cass, who, says the word new era like 5 times. And he's like, new era, new era, new era. Not a baseball hat, new era. The new era. Which obviously you don't have a name for yet, because you don't name an era until it's already over. Usually. But that supposedly sets up our main event for the evening, and, you know, I was all for the fact that you have Big Cass in the main event. Sure, he's certainly getting better reactions in most cities than Roman Reigns, and he's 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. So, speaking of tall folks, our first match of the evening was another match between Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler. I'm all confused. And I guess this is a rematch from the pre-show from Payback, and guess what? Baron Corbin won this match, so I guess we might get another pre-show match, which will be, you know, they got 1-1 now, so there'll be that, you know, third match in the series between Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler, but also, who cares? But there were a few good spots in this match that I thought were pretty nice, but hey, Dolph Ziggler can bump his ass off. That's not new news. Anyway, there was some backstage stuff here with the Flairs and the McMahons. There was some backstage stuff here with the Club, which is, like, I guess they're just going to call them the Club. It's some kind of a club, and that stuff is just like, there was a game called The Club in, like, 08 on 360 and PS3. There's a device called The Club that keeps your car safe. There's a sandwich called The Club, and you know at some point Roman Reigns is going to be like, what? Are you like a turkey or a chicken? Like, you know, tater tots. At some point, that's going to just manifest itself, and, you know, is going to be the dumbest thing in the world. Whoa there, Moonsault Chris Jericho. I am recording, right? Yes, just making sure. There was that one time where I totally wasn't. Actually move this, so I'm going to make sure I don't, because I had some capture issues last week. Anyway. The next match was part of the ongoing Goldango, Beautiful Truth, Gorgeous Truth, Goldango. We had Fandango versus R-Truth in a singles match, and R-Truth won. And again, I can only think this is still going on, woo, because Vince thinks it's hilarious. I can't think of any other reason, because it makes no sense. But perhaps they're gonna have their eventual tag match at Extreme Rules. Maybe not. Anyway, we move on to Paige versus Charlotte. Hey, Paige is on Raw having a match. Winning a match. But this was yet another distraction roll-up, the Diva special. And so Natalya was ringside. Ric Flair was banned from ringside. But Ric Flair is Ric Flair. And apparently, Natalya getting on the apron brought out Ric Flair, and then out comes Shane. Like, no, I told you, banned from ringside. Then out comes, like, a million fucking referees. The best part of this was Flair being like, like, he was ready to jump somebody. Like, it was just, the image of that was hilarious. And the only thing that I wanted to mention here is that there was a camera angle when they were looking over Natalya's shoulder, looking at the action in the ring. There was very obviously a can of Monster Energy drink on the announce table. They're not a sponsor. That's not Mountain Dew. That's not Kickstart. What are you doing, WWE? That's not even the same brand. That's not even the same parent company. Like, that shouldn't have been on camera. Like, bottles of water, fine. But that shouldn't have been on camera. Somebody fucked up. Anyway. We move on to The Miz versus Sami Zayn, and if Sami Zayn wins this match, a non-title match, then he gets to be in a title match. And I believe this had another distraction finish, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, it was another case of, hey, the person not holding the belt beat the person who's the champion. We're going to do that again for like the 8 millionth time. But obviously, Sami Zayn won, and obviously this is going to be a fatal 4-way going into the pay-per-view, which is Extreme Rules. But we're kind of just, taking all the steps to get to that point. But hey, it is what it is. Anyway, we had backstage with Becky Lynch and Evil Emma, or Heel Emma, or, whatever you're going to refer to her as. And we had the Raw debut, backstage debut, of Dana Brooke. I guess it's going to be the muscle for Emma, which I believe they did down in NXT. So, hey, that dynamic works, fine. I'd seen a lot of complaints saying, hey, why bring up Dana Brooke before you bring up Bayley? And the obvious answer there is house show tickets. As a touring brand, they need that headlining women's wrestler, and certainly for NXT, that is Bayley. And how much longer? Who knows? We had a repeat of the vignette for Darren Young and Mr. Bob Backlund. They aired on SmackDown. They're going to air it again here on Raw. And I am indifferent and always have been on Darren Young. I think he is occasionally really good. Just kind of, putting him in the right position. But I am 100% behind anything they do with Bob Backlund. Obviously, I was not watching wrestling in Bob Backlund's heyday of, the 70s and 80s. But having my knowledge of Bob Backlund from his feud with Bret Hart in the mid-90s, and having him beat Mr. Backlund and being crazy, that was amazing. So I am all for more Bob Backlund. Next up, we had a video of Xavier Woods and the Up, Up, Down, Down crew on Raw. And man, that must be nice to have your YouTube show being shown on a nationally televised product. Must be nice. That's not my complaint here. My complaint here is that it had zero actual video gaming, which is the point of the gaming channel. It was literally a goddamn Pizza Hut commercial. It's not even professional jealousy. It's this channel doesn't shill for fucking anybody. And that's the thing on YouTube, is that I understand you have a boss, and your boss is the fucking WWE, and you'll do what they tell you to do. And I'm sure the agreement was, hey, we'll feature your YouTube channel if you show for our fucking sponsors in Pizza Hut. As someone who has no network, no sponsors, no brand deals, and no bullshit, the whole thing was just, I was like, you know what? Fuck that. Fuck that and fuck Pizza Hut. Anyway, that's my rant. Codebreaker. Moving on. Next match was Sin Cara versus Rusev, and granted, this was not, the champion losing, but it was the number one contender losing to a poorly timed distraction. So Rusev is yelling at Kalisto, who gets on the apron. Like, you're a face, Kalisto, what are you doing? And then Lana tries to get in the ring, and then that allows Kalisto to kick Rusev in the face, and then Sin Cara gets the win on a very long roll-up. So again, another distraction finish, roll-up finish, whatever else. And I was just like, come on. Come on! Who is looking at the rundown of this whole show and seeing, hey, a bunch of similar things are happening here, perhaps we should change it up a little bit, perhaps do something different, and not have it just feel like fucking reruns. Anyway, next up we had an elimination tag match. Honestly, I'm shocked was not the main event, between The Family, which is Roman Reigns and the Usos, versus The Club, which is AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson. The match was alright. Basically, obviously, everyone gets eliminated except for Roman and AJ. And then they're going at it like they were outside of the ring for a while, and the ref, I guess, wasn't counting. And then a chair got involved on the outside, and then the ref called it. And that was the end of that. So Roman Reigns wins by disqualification. They had kind of a face-off in the ring afterwards. And I like that this match told the story. Instead of having them talk for 20 minutes, the match told the story. So therefore, the crowd, it was actually Roman Reigns and AJ Styles chants go back and forth instead of just them booing the fuck out of Reigns, which they have been doing because they keep letting him talk. So do more of that. Do more of having the match tell the story, which is ideally how a lot of wrestling should work. Anyway, guess what, you guys? Next week, I guess we're going to Puerto Rico because next week is the re-debut of Epico and Primo, and that's gonna flop. I'm telling you right now. There's no way that's gonna be any good. Like, I think those guys are talented as wrestlers, but this positioning, there's no fucking way they're gonna come out and smell flowers like fucking what? Anyway, next up was this match, which is Kevin Owens versus Zack Ryder, with the most predictable ending in the world. Obviously, Kevin Owens beats Zack Ryder in a match, and the stipulation was if Ryder won, he'd be in that IC title match. But obviously, he did not win, so he was not in that match. And there he goes, missing an elbow. Next up, out comes the New Day versus those damn Dudleys. And this match was kind of whatever. There was an interference from the Vaudevillains, which is fine. But it felt like the interference, should have had the match called off. There was a bunch of shit going on. And, at that point, the ref has lost control. But Devon just hits his fucking sick lariat. And that ends the match. And, again, your champions being pinned by non-champions. So, that sucks. Anyway, your supposed main event here was going to be Chris Jericho versus Big Cass. And it did not happen because Chris Jericho, as he was coming out doing his, light bright jacket thing, was attacked by somebody. Guess what? Dean Ambrose. So, earlier in that opening thing, he said, oh, Ambrose is hurt, he's not here. When almost all the time, when they tell you somebody is not there in the opening segment, by the ending segment, guess what? They're actually there. And then, as revenge for the destruction of Mitch the Plant, we had the destruction of Chris Jericho's jacket with a pair of fabric scissors. And honestly, Ambrose doing moves with those in his pocket earlier, it's kind of fucking dangerous. They're pointy still. And the way Raw ended here with this, I like the part where they just, had that all ripped out and cut up. First of all, we've seen Jericho with 3 different jackets. That isn't his only light up jacket. He has 3 of those, right? Second of all, if you had a drinking game for every time they said the word $15,000, you'd be dead of alcohol poisoning. And then after that whole thing, they went to Shane and Steph in the back, and Shane, oh yeah, we're getting along, blah, 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 and then he walks away and Steph's looking at the picture, and so that's going somewhere. Conspicuous by his continued absence since Mania. What the fuck's Triple H? Seriously. Other than that, that was Raw. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. I thought it was okay. It kind of spun its wheels a little bit. Where was Apollo Crews? Was not on Raw at all. That was interesting. And yeah, that was it. I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. More videos every day. And I'll see you next time, right here on this channel. And I'm out!